With that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
Everybody now has an opportunity to pull up their chair and have a...
For the past year, we've seen Sheryl Swoopes repeatedly take shots at Caitlin Clark, making some pretty unusual claims along the way. At one point, she suggested Clark was basically a 25-year-old competing against teenagers, downplayed her rookie season as nothing special, and even hinted that other players weren't interested in teaming up with her.
Some of your peers, they will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of hard, right?
Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dumb.
Then Cheryl Miller stepped in and completely changed the tone. The legendary figure, and someone who's coached Caitlin Clark, came out swinging during an appearance on the All the Smoke podcast. She didn't hold back either, calling Sheryl Swoopes out directly and tearing apart the narratives that had been circulating. Miller made it clear where she stands, firmly shutting down the criticism while backing Clark in a big way. And in doing so, she hinted at something unexpected about the direction of the Indiana Fever, something that's already got fans talking. So buckle up, because this is where things start to get interesting.
Player of the Year, two-time national championship, two-time tournament MVP, first woman to dunk in an organized game, gold medalist. Thank you for making time. Welcome to the show, Cheryl Miller.
But before we dive into everything Cheryl Miller had to say, take a second to think about this. Why does one of the game's all-time greats seem so intent on going after the WNBA's rising superstar? Let's take a closer look at the unusual campaign Sheryl Swoopes has carried out against Caitlin Clark, starting back in her college days and continuing all the way into her rookie season.
Let's also talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old.
It really kicked off when Sheryl Swoopes started making claims about Caitlin Clark's college career that just didn't line up with reality. One of the most talked about moments came when she insisted Clark was 25 years old competing against 20-year-olds during her time at University of Iowa. But here's the truth. Clark was actually 22, simply playing her fourth season, just like many other seniors across college basketball. When people pushed back on that claim, Swoopes tried to walk it back, saying it was more of an exaggeration tied to the extra eligibility from COVID rules. Still, that explanation didn't really convince anyone.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
But Sheryl Swoopes didn't stop there. She was just getting warmed up. She went on to say that Caitlin Clark was putting up around 40 shots a game, framing her as someone who dominated the ball and played selfishly. In reality, Clark averaged about 22.7 attempts per game. What makes that criticism even more surprising is the comparison. Swoopes herself averaged 19.2 shots per game during her senior season, only a few less than Clark. It's a bit of a glasshouse situation. Then, as Clark started closing in on the all-time NCAA scoring record, Swoopes changed her angle. This time, she questioned how legitimate the milestone really was, suggesting Clark needed an extra fifth year to reach it.
Bring back Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
That claim didn't hold up at all. Caitlin Clark broke the record in just 4 seasons, the same time frame as most college stars. What often gets left out is that the COVID eligibility rules actually gave her the option to return for a fifth year, but she chose not to take it. When Clark made the jump to the WNBA, Sheryl Swoopes confidently predicted she wouldn't be able to take over at the pro level. But once Clark started racking up rookie assist records and quickly established herself as one of the league's top playmakers, that criticism seemed to fade away. And the stats back it all up. Clark wrapped up her rookie season averaging 19.2 points along with a league-best 8.4 assists per game. In the end, she quieted the doubters and walked away with Rookie of the Year honors.
Didn't say she wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, there's no way that anyone could ever leave this season in saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points didn't dominate that.
Maybe the most revealing moment came during Sheryl Swoopes' appearance on Angel Reese's podcast. Even there, she kept taking subtle shots at Caitlin Clark, all while claiming she had nothing against her. It felt like one of those situations where the words and the actions just didn't quite match up.
Cheryl, since she was in college, I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first SBs. I've known Cheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that there was this quote by Cheryl that said, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, however old, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate.
People around the basketball world started picking up on the pattern, and it didn't go unnoticed. Eventually, Sheryl Swoopes was pulled from a broadcast involving the Indiana Fever and replaced by Nancy Lieberman, who had no problem addressing the misinformation that had been circulating about the rookie star Caitlin Clark.
Got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend and I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you might like Boston, I might like the Yankees. It's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone and I was like, Cheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Sheryl Swoopes in my life.
The basketball world had been waiting for a respected voice to finally step into the Caitlin Clark debate. And that moment came when Cheryl Miller showed up on the All the Smoke podcast and went straight at the critics. So what happens when a true legend of the game, someone who's actually coached Clark, decides she's done hearing the noise? You get one of the most genuine and powerful defenses we've seen in women's basketball.
No, Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. Yeah. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given. Look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So, with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.